Hello and welcome to this episode of RPGGamer Top 5s, and this time we're going to do the top 5 strategy games. Now, I've had a lot of flack in the comments for some of these lists for just having older titles in them, so a warning up front that the newest game in this list is 10 years old. Now, I don't know if that's a sign that strategy games are out of vogue, or if they're so popular these days that opinion is split over which current ones are best. As usual, I've only allowed the top ranking game from any particular series into the chart, but have granted it all of the votes of the entire series, putting it forward as a representative of that series, which this time has affected every single game on the chart. But given that one of the series has around a dozen entries to it, and others have far less, it's possible this alone has skewed the results. And with that admission, let's get on with the countdown. At number 5, Warcraft III Reign of Chaos, by Blizzard in 2002, with 772 votes. Warcraft III Reign of Chaos is the second sequel to Warcraft Orcs and Humans, after Warcraft II Tides of Darkness, and is the third game set in the Warcraft fictional universe, and the first to be rendered in 3 dimensions. An expansion pack, The Frozen Throne, was released in July 2003. Warcraft III is set several years after the event of Warcraft II, and tells the story of the Burning Legion's attempt to conquer the fictional world of Azeroth with the help of an army of undead, led by the fallen paladin Arthas. It chronicles the combined events of the Human Alliance, Orcish Horde, and Night Elves to stop them before they can corrupt the World Tree. The game follows the story of 3 different heroes. The one of the young and idealistic human paladin and Crown Prince of Lordaeron, Arthas, as he becomes more and more corrupted until he joins the undead and helps summoning demon forces to Azeroth. The adventures of Orc War Chief Thrall, as he brings his people to the world of Kalimdor to escape human captivity and the impending downfall of Lordaeron, and the events involving Tyrande, the Night Elven leader, who has to deal with both the arrival of humans and orcs in their sacred lands, and the invasion by the demon forces. The game received acclaim from critics, who praised the game's presentation and multiplayer features, and was a commercial success, shipping 4.4 million copies to retail stores, selling over 1 million within a month. In 2018, Blizzard announced a remaster of both Warcraft III and its expansion The Frozen Throne, entitled Warcraft III Reforged. Many promised features and updates were not included in the January 28, 2020 release of Reforged, leading to mixed reception from critics and negative reception from fans, resulting in Blizzard having to offer refunds. At number 4, Starcraft by Blizzard in 1998, with 1,551 votes. Blizzard started work on the game shortly after Warcraft II was released in 1995. The first incarnation debuted at the 1996 Electronic Entertainment Expo, where it was unfavourably compared to Warcraft II. As a result, the project was entirely overhauled before being showcased to the public in early 1997, at which time it received a far more positive response. The game's multiplayer is particularly popular in South Korea, as of 2006, where players and teams participate in professional competitions, earn sponsorships, and compete in televised tournaments. The game is set in a fictitious future timeline during the 25th century, in a distant part of the Milky Way galaxy known as the Kuprulu sector. The game revolves around 3 intelligent species fighting for dominance. The Terrans are humans exiled from Earth, who are now skilled at adapting to any situation. The Zerg are a race of insectoid aliens in pursuit of genetic perfection and obsessed with assimilating other races. And the Protoss are a humanoid species with advanced technology and psionic abilities, who are attempting to preserve their civilization and strict philosophy about their way of life from the Zerg. Many journalists of the video game industry have praised StarCraft as one of the most important, one of the greatest video games of all time. The game is also said to have raised the bar for developing real-time strategy games, with more than 11 million copies sold worldwide by February 2009. It has been praised for pioneering the use of unique factions in RTS gameplay, and for having a compelling story. StarCraft had its storyline adapted and expanded through a series of novels published between the year 2000 and 2016. The expansion pack StarCraft Brood War, and the 2 officially authorized add-ons, Insurrection and Retribution. A sequel, StarCraft II Wings of Liberty, was released in 2010, which generated 2 expansion packs and a campaign pack between 2013 and 2016, while a remaster edition of the original and its expansion pack was released in August 2017. The original game, along with the expansion, was released for free in April 2017. And at number 3, Rome Total War by Activision in 2004, with 1,773 votes. Rome Total War is a strategy video game developed by the Creative Assembly and originally published by Activision. Its publishing rights have since passed to Sega. The game is the third title in the Creative Assembly's Total War series, which also contains Shogun Total War, Medieval Total War, Medieval II Total War, Empire Total War, Napoleon Total War, Total War Shogun II, Total War Rome 2, Total War Attila, Total War Warhammer and Warhammer 2, Total War Saga Thrones of Britannia, Total War Three Kingdoms, and Total War Saga Troy. The game's main campaign takes place from 270 BC to 14 AD, showcasing the final centuries of the Republican period and the early decades of the Imperial period of ancient Rome. The player initially assumes control of one of 3 Roman families. Other non-Roman factions can be unlocked later. Gameplay is split between real-time tactical battles and a turn-based strategic campaign. Within the campaign, players manage the economy, government, diplomacy, and military of their faction and attempt to accomplish a series of objectives on a map that encompasses most of Europe, North Africa, and the Near East. On the battlefield, the player controls groups of soldiers and uses them to engage in combat with enemy forces. Upon release, the game received widespread acclaim from critics. In the years since, the game has been frequently referred to by critics as one of the greatest video games of all time. 2 official expansion packs, Barbarian Invasion and Alexander, have been released for the game, and a sequel, Total War Rome 2, was released on September 3rd, 2013. At number 2, Age of Empires II: The Age of Kings by Ensemble Studios in 1999, with 2,495 votes. Age of Empires II: The Age of Kings is the second game in the Age of Empires series and had an expansion, The Conquerors, which was released in the year 2000. The Age of Empires series contains Age of Empires 1, 2, 3 and 4, and also the Age of Mythology game, each of which has numerous add-ons throughout their life. The Age of Kings is set in the Middle Ages and contains 13 playable civilizations. Players aim to gather resources, which they use to build towns, create armies, and defeat their enemies. There are 5 historically based campaigns, which constrict the player to specialised and story-backed conditions. And there are 3 additional single-player game modes, and multiplayer is also supported. Despite using the same game engine and similar code to its predecessor, development of the Age of Kings took a year longer than expected, forcing Ensemble Studios to release Age of Empires: The Rise of Rome in 1998 instead. The design team focused on resolving significant issues in Age of Empires, but noted on release that some problems remained. Reception of the Age of Kings was highly positive. The significant number of new features was praised, as were the gameplay improvements. 3 months after its release, 2 million copies of the Age of Kings had been shipped, and it topped sales charts in 7 countries. The game won multiple awards, and is today considered a classic of its type, having had a significant impact on future games in its genre. The original Age of Empires 2 and the expansion pack were later released as the Gold Edition. Age of Empires 2 is now considered one of the greatest games ever made. In April 2013, Age of Empires 2 HD Edition was released on the Steam digital distribution platform for Microsoft Windows. The HD Edition includes the original game and the expansion The Conquerors, as well as updated graphics for high-resolution displays. Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition, a definitive remaster, was released in November 2019. And at number 1, Civilization V by Firaxis Games in 2010, with 3,342 votes. Sid Meier's Civilization V is a 4X video game in the Civilization series, which was started back in 1991 and has had numerous entries into the series, including Colonization, Alpha Centauri, as well as Civilizations 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. In Civilization V, the player leads a civilization from prehistoric times into the future on a procedurally generated map, attempting to achieve one of a number of different victory conditions through research, exploration, diplomacy, expansion, economic development, government, and military conquest. The game is based on an entirely new game engine, with hexagonal tiles instead of the square tiles of the earlier games in the series. Many elements from Civilization IV and its expansion packs have been removed or changed, such as religion and espionage, although these were reintroduced in subsequent expansions. The combat system has been overhauled by removing stacking military units and enabling cities to defend themselves by firing directly on nearby enemies. In addition, the maps contain computer-controlled city-states and non-player characters that are available for trade, diplomacy and conquest. as Civilization's borders also expand one tile at a time, favouring more productive tiles, and roads now have a maintenance cost, making them much less common. The game also features community modding and multiplayer elements. Its first expansion pack, Civilization V Gods and Kings, was released on June 19, 2012. It includes features such as religion, espionage, enhanced naval combat, and combat AI, as well as 9 new civilizations. A second expansion pack, Civilization V Brave New World, was announced on March 15, 2013. It includes features such as international trade routes, a world congress, tourism, great works, as well as 9 new civilizations, 8 additional wonders, and 3 ideologies. And that's it for this list of the top 5 strategy games. So what did you think? Was your favourite represented in the list? Or are you a fan of the XCOM series? Or Command & Conquer? Or some of the more modern games such as the Hearts of Iron series? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, or get in touch by email or through the website. Anyway, as always, many thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like what we're doing, but most of all, you look after yourselves, and we'll catch you later. Bye!